right? Welcome back to the Nimrodjaune podcast. I'm your host, Zach Adewale, and welcome back. Um, Shout out to all my Apple Podcast listeners, Spotify listeners. Shout out to all of y'all, and yeah, let's get right back into it. So, I'm in the parking lot, as you can tell. We're in the car today. I'm trying new things out, trying to experiment a bit. But let's get to the topic of the video, along with the title. I made a video this Wednesday, basically talking about what is good. I'm trying to not what is good, but that's the topic of this video. I'm trying to figure out what was normal. I'm trying to see if there's like a way we can give a concrete definition of what is normal, and could our individual opinion of what normal is be welcomed in like a group type setting. And I used the example of when I was younger, the societal definition of normal was different than what it is now for me. You know what I'm trying to say? And I guess I'm trying to do the same thing, but with the definition of good. What is good? What could be classified as good? What is a good person? What is a good action? What is a good line of thinking? Like I remember I made a video basically saying, if you want something, you're gonna have to get off on your old merit because nobody's gonna give it to you. I still believe in that, right? And I remember I got a comment from an older gentleman. He was just like, that's a good mentality to have. It's a good mentality to believe in your own self, right? And while we're on the topic of good, it's a good mentality. To me, it's a good mentality. But if I were to ask if I were to ask a group of people, would that same line of reason that I carry hold up to the group thinking? Because I read this somewhere, and I believe it's true. When we're in a group, our thinking conforms to the natural streamlined thinking of the group. So if this is what the group is saying is good, then for the natural consensus, our brain will align with it, just avoid standing out. Because I don't personally have a definition of good. I don't really know what good is. Me and my friend, we would talk about like what is a good person. We'd go back and forth on just trying to find a definition of what a good person is. Because to me, a good person is somebody who's adaptable. Meaning, let's say I'm coming to you in a way of, I want to tell you something that might be too harsh or give you an opinion on something. A good person will take what they want to say and adapt it to how you like to hear it, so it doesn't come off in a way or it doesn't lead to a misinterpretation. You're trying to lessen the impact of the misinterpretation. That's what I believe a good person is. She would tell me that a good person is somebody who's honest, truthful, this and that. And to a certain degree, I also agree. A good person is somebody who's honest, who's truthful. These are very true characteristics, right? But it's to a point where, to me, a good person understands one size doesn't fit all. And I guess in her definition, she was kind of alluding to that, and I disagreed, saying that's not what a good person is. Going back to the topic of good, like I said in the last video, everybody's perspective is different. I came from a different walk of life. You came from a different walk of life. Our definitions of what's normal and good are going to be completely different based on our environments and how we were raised. This is an undeniable fact. Whatever. It's an undeniable fact. That's how it's going to go, right? With this being said now, there has to be, like I said in the last video, there has to be some form of a definition that can be applicable to an individual person, and is applicable to a group setting. Going back to the good person example, right? I believe somebody that's adaptable is a good person. She believes somebody who's honest is a good person. To somebody else, we both could be correct. And to another person, we could both be incorrect. And I guess I'm more hyper-focused on the incorrect person, because I want the definition to withhold, to stay in time. Like the definition of many. Many is a lot of whatever, right? It's understood that you can't, that's the uniform definition of many. And I know this kind of like compare apples to oranges, but good doesn't have that type of definition. I don't even know the actual Google definition of good. But I know even if I were to know, it still wouldn't be satisfactory in the natural real life world that I would go out and live. Like if I were to ask my friends what is their definition of good, it probably wouldn't go in the direction that I would think it go, because everybody would have a different perspective on it. But I still believe we'll all carry a single trait that's similar. Whether it's a good person, or let's talk about people, a good person is loving, caring, kind, respectful. One of those adjectives would describe a good person. But I don't know. I feel like there's more to it. And maybe I'm overcomplicating just the line of thought process in itself. But I personally believe that there has to be some identifiable way. Like, what's a good action? And what I mean by that is donating money to people who need it good? Yes. I'm pretty sure we can all agree on that. Is donating money to somebody who already has money good? I don't really know. Because their argument could always be, you could always give that money to somebody else. Like, take for example, streamers. Is donating a big streamer 10 subs, which is like $50, is that a good action, or is that a wasteful one? You gave somebody money that could possibly need it, who knows their financial situation, but with the allure of streaming, if you're a big streamer, you kind of give off, or it's kind of known that you make a lot of money. And with that being said, if I were to give them the money, would that be a good action? Or would that be a sort of a wasteful one? Like, these type of things, it's like, I don't really know. But it's interesting. The most interesting part about this whole, I guess, discussion is seeing the different opinions weigh in on what people say and a reflection of how they grew up. Like, some people will say that, oh, this is a good thing, or this is, to me, good. Like, that's how I was, not even directly saying it, but they're indirectly saying, this is how I was raised, this is what I was taught is good. Most people don't actually hear the word that come out their mouth sometimes. Like, it goes through the brain and just comes out. They don't actually hear themselves. Because if we heard ourselves a lot of time, we would recognize how often our childhood and how the way we was raised impacts a lot of our lines of thinking and our reasoning. Like, going off that, my direct reasoning for good is defined by my childhood. That's a dickhead ass rap. But going back to what I was saying, what I grew up watching, what I grew up watching, listening to, looking at, that severely shaped my definition of good. I believe a good action is, you need some money, here. Even if you don't need some money, just here. Even if you don't need no money and I feel like giving you some money, here. I never tell anybody about it. That's the difference. If you tell somebody about an action that you did that's supposed to be under the table, I don't know. I think that kind of invalidates the whole good-hearted part of it. But that's a topic for another day. Like, just giving in any form of way, whether it's attention, time, money, whatever you can give. I believe that's a good thing. And that's how I grew up. Listen, that's how I grew up. I don't know if somebody who grew up similar to me would carry that same definition. And if they did, or carry that same example, but if they did, would it still be a good thing to them? Because maybe they had somebody who gave them something and it messed them up for some time. And now giving to them seems like a bad thing because of the trauma that they endured because somebody gave them something. It's really a lot of different weigh-in points that I think goes all back to our childhood. That's why reflecting is important. It goes all back to our childhood, as in our childhood shaped a lot of our very core fundamentals of thinking. A lot of elder people's ideology that we see now that people do not like, or some people gravitate towards too, came from their childhood, and then as they grew up, they heard it from somewhere, or they developed it, or they had this line of thinking and it clicked for them. That type of thing. It's very interesting. Example of this. This happened today. I was reading, because on Instagram I get a lot of educational videos, whether it's Black history or just women giving their perspective of being a woman, right? And this is kind of going on top, but I'm gonna relate it back. There was a woman giving a topic on essay, right? And they were saying how even if you didn't do it, or if you encourage it, it gives, you're not any better, basically. And this isn't even to that situation, but we're in a group today in school. We're in a group, we're talking. And there's a girl that's our friend. She's in a group. She's saying things that would very well, if you were a woman, you would look at her like she was a pygmy. And I'm not saying she is, she's not. Well, at least just how she is. But from a woman perspective, I can see how they would think that. And she was saying, yeah, I'm saying you're supposed to be a feminist, you're supposed to be this, because the way things she was saying was not very ladylike, we could say. She was using big boy words, not those type of words. And so we're going on with the conversation, and how did it go? And then she said, oh yeah, I'm a feminist, I support equal rights, equal fights, right? That type thing. In the sense of, you can't expect to hit a man with the intention of knocking him out and he doesn't hit you back. And then another guy said, yeah, equal rights, equal lefts. And then she dapped him up on that. I said, you don't dap him up on that. And that was the example that I was given. How you may not even commit it, but the encouraging of it, in the moment it happened, it clicked for me. I get what she was talking about. Because I don't know if he does. You never really know that guy. As we're growing, the basic fundamentals that we have as a child is then developed within the societal groups that we are in. Just what I was talking about today. That, what he just said, equal lefts, equal rights, whatever the hell crazy shit he said. That is not normal. To me, at least. It's not good at all. But he still did it, and did it with a face of, I guess you could say, here. What I mean by here is laugh. It's funny. Laugh. It's a joke. Whatever. What would lead somebody on to think that's encouraged or that's okay? Because that's what is, I guess you could say, socially, you could say socially acceptable within that group. It's not. Because two other people said, don't dap him up on anything he says regarding that matter in the slightest. But as we grow older and we're in these groups, our definitions are conforming to the group. So when it's time to step out, how does our definition of good differ from the group? I know I kind of went in like a complete roundabout circle, but this is just like, my thoughts are just kind of jumbled up together, if that makes any sense. Hope I made any sense of this. But yeah, feel free to leave any comments. Shout out all my Apple Podcasts, this is Spotify listeners, and I'll see y'all next week. Peace.